Jeff, are you there, Jefferson?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, there, is that you? Yeah. Yeah, we hear you. Jeff, one more thing before you get started with your presentation. About halfway through it, let us know you're about halfway and we'll take about a 15-minute break. We get refreshments. Those of you online, you don't get them. Okay, Jeff? Turn it over to you.
What I'll do is I'm not exactly sure about the midpoint, but there's a Q&A section, and we'll just hold off the Q&As till after.
Okay, whatever you'd like, Jeff. Any way you want to do it. About halfway through the, we're here till 9 if need be. Oh, we need to bring him over. There we go. Thank you. And I guess we're ready for you to share your screen.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, I mean, if that's part of your presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Forgive me.
One second.
We've got a black screen.
Oh, 1 second. Here we go. All right. You're all seeing my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, for starters, hi, everybody. My name's Jeff, and I live in the South Bay. I live in Manhattan Beach. And you're all from the South Bay, right?
Yes. Primarily. Welcome.
Thank you. Now I just have to figure out why it's not moving. There we go. Okay, so yes, I live in Manhattan Beach. You guys, what, Palos Verdes, Rolling Hills, Torrance, Hermosa, Redondo, etc.?
Yes. Right.
Okay. I'll give you, I was on a South Bay shoot today, so I'll tell you all about it. Today we're going to be talking about shooting travel photos like a pro with your phone. And in case you're wondering, I do have the new iPhone 16 here. I have 2 of them, and I'll tell you all about it at a certain point. My little introduction here is that I have a series on YouTube called Photo Walks TV, where I go around to wonderful places and film travel episodes on my iPhone. And I've been, oh, look at that. I'm getting a nag message from Adobe. Okay. How do I get rid of them? There we go. We'll see if Adobe wants to nag me again. Paris, Nova Scotia, Sicily, Madrid, Barcelona, Manhattan Beach, all over the world. And I use iPhone, Galaxy, GoPro, the Insta360, and a drone to film the show. Tonight we'll discuss the menu, the hidden settings in the menu, some of the camera modes, how to get some special effects, composition, my tricks on how to get great shots, and editing tips. I believe you could do 90% of everything that you want to do in photography with the cell phone camera, even stopping action. What you can't do, oh, I'm sorry, you can do beautiful night shots. What you can't do sports very well, like this photo here. You can't get great shots of school plays. You can't get close-ups of birds in flight. You guys were talking about going on a birding thing. That's a little hard unless you want a big wide shot of a whole lot of birds flying. You can't get really memorable safari close-ups. You can't do party coverage like a wedding without the flash, but you can get great close-ups of birds if the bird is a seagull and is nearby. You can get double rainbows in Manhattan Beach. You can shoot through fish tanks really well without reflections. You can get great silhouettes at aquariums. My Sony 24-70mm couldn't do this shot because it couldn't fit it in the frame, but my iPhone could at 13mm. I couldn't do this shot of the Hollywood sign either because 24 millimeter was not wide enough. You could do professional portraits in portrait mode. I did this in Atlanta with my friend Scotty. You can drag the shutter, which is a pretty cool effect that you can do on both the Galaxy and the iPhone and the Pixel. You can do funny panoramic tricks. You can do beautiful night shots if you time it right and get there at the right time. There's no reason you can't do exactly what you would do with a big camera, a mirrorless camera. You can get Paris at her best. These are all iPhone shots. You can do quick street photography. You see these two ladies walking down the street and say, hey, let me get your picture real fast. And you yank that iPhone out and go, boing, and it gets done. iPhone tricks. This is a live photo iPhone trick. You can't do this on the Galaxy to the best of my knowledge, but you can do it on the iPhone, and I'll tell you how in a minute. This is one of the best things about shooting on a cell phone, shooting in the rain. I also shoot professionally with my Sony, and it used to be when it rained, I would get very worried, and I'd start covering it up under my jacket, under my shirt, worried that I was going to ruin the camera. Well, the iPhone, the Galaxy, the Pixel, they are all water resistant. I have taken them swimming in pools, gone underwater with them, submerged them, and recharged them up afterwards with no problem. In the rain, you could run around, you could shoot the puddles, you can shoot the reflections. It is just amazing, I think. Camera in the pocket again, gets the quick shot. Those cows taking a quick little swimming break. That was in Redondo Beach. Just kidding. That was in Utah. And just very quickly before they ran out and got worried about me standing there, got the shot. You could do fun stuff like time lapse and slow-mo and night mode. Now, let's unshare for a minute, because before I do the prep, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of these things on my desk. This is the new iPhone 16 for any of you who have wondered about it. I actually have two of them here. Yes. This is the Plus, and this is the Pro. They're the largest iPhones they've ever come out with. I don't have the Pro Max, which is just a little bigger, but this is 6.5 inches, which is just a little bigger than, is it? Oh, you could hardly tell. You can hardly tell. This is an old 13. The big news about the new ones, the Pro editions, are slow-mo, 4K, 120 frames per second. I don't know if that means anything to you guys. It means the highest resolution slow-mo that any smartphone has ever done. And I took it to Venice last week to test it out, and it's really cool. And you could adjust the speed of your slow-mo after the fact. The Galaxy and the Pixel will do 60 frames per second. This one will do 120 frames. It's pretty cool. There's also a new, do I have it? Let's do this one. Camera, there's a camera button on the side of the phone. Click it here and it opens it up. And you could also adjust your exposure with it. You can't really see what I'm doing. You could zoom in. It's a nice feature. I have not gotten used to it. I prefer just swiping and opening up. Those are the two big marquee features. Now, I took some pictures on this one with the 5X telephoto lens the other night versus, I can't even tell anymore. I have so many phones around here. Let's say this is the iPhone 14. I think it is. No, it's over here. Just to be accurate, this is my iPhone 14. Kind of night and day. Beyond the fact that the iPhone 13 has a 3X telephoto and the new one has a 5X, and as did the 15. So that's 120 millimeter versus 77 millimeter. And those shots were brighter. They were brighter and sharper. To the question, should you go out and buy it? Do you need to upgrade? If you have a 15 Pro, I would not buy the new 16 Pro. I don't think you need it unless you just feel like spending money and getting the latest and greatest. If you have a 14, I would do it. If you have a 13, 12, and 11, definitely. So that's my little wrap there, just so you know. Also have the Galaxy right here. So any questions about the iPhone before we move on? Okay, I'll take it. Nobody's in the market to buy themselves a new iPhone right now.
What do you mean?
I
Right?
don't have any questions.
Okay, so
You have that 14 Pro.
what about it?
The 14 Pro, do
Yeah.
you recommend getting an upgrade to the 16?
Yeah, I thought the pictures were much better. I thought they were much brighter and better in the light and sharper. And I really saw the big difference. Plus, you'll get a much bigger lens. You'll go from a 3x to a 5x. I would rather have a 5x than a 3x. I like the telephoto. I think it comes in handy. It's not the sharpest lens. The 1x is the sharpest lens. But I'll take it. I'd rather have 3 lenses than 1. How about you?
I do have a question. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
My question is, you say it's the 5x now on the 16. Is that
Yes.
5x optical or digital zoom?
Okay, 5x optical zoom, which is pretty much the same as on the 15 Pro. They have a zoom button. This thing that I was showing you, this camera control button, you can now zoom from 1x to 5x. And I don't like it because you're going from 1x to digital to 2x, which is optical, to 3x, which is optical, to 4, which is not, to 5x, which is, and then up from there. And I think there's going to be a lot of really fuzzy pictures because they made it easier to zoom into digital zoom. Digital zoom, for those of you who don't know, it's nothing but a crop of your image blown up, and it looks terrible. Too many people walk around pinching and zooming, thinking they're getting closer when they're actually not. They're just cropping in and getting a bad copy. So one big rule I always have is to use your feet. If that's the best zoom out in the world, just get closer.
Is that because they're setting up for video and you want to be able to do a zoom?
I think most people don't realize what they're doing. I think Apple puts it there and would like people to believe that digital zoom is not that bad. If you read their website, I see optical quality. That's a word that they use, optical quality. And that's a good giveaway. It ain't optical if it's optical quality. That's like buying some Cheerios that come from oats and it says oat flavor, something like that. It's not, or you buy some lemonade and it says lemon flavor.
So can you just explain just a little bit more? If I have a 13 and you said it's a 3x optical, how should I take it to make sure I'm doing the optical versus the digital by moving the
Okay. Well, first of all,
picture around? I'm not understanding how.
I think the 13 is actually a 2x. You cannot see this, but there are numbers, and I'm going to get there in my presentation, but there are numbers atop the photo app. My number here says 0.5, 1x, 2x, and 5. Your 13 should say 0.5, 1, and 2, I
No, it
believe.
says 3.
Okay,
It's
so
a 13 Pro.
okay, you click the numbers, and those are the optical.
Oh, if I don't click that number and I'm just moving it with my finger, I'm getting digital.
Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you. I did know that. That's great clarification.
All right. Have fun sometime and do a back-to-back, and then blow it up on your computer and see what you think.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. That's cool.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, now using third-party software like Lightroom and Luminix or
Luminar?
couldn't I upgrade that to a 16 almost? I
Well,
mean,
you can put your
well,
software in the 16 with no problem.
I'm sorry?
You can move your software to the 16 with no problem.
No, I'm saying if I have a 14, I don't want to upgrade. I think that's, I mean, I got a couple good cameras already. I don't want to keep buying more stuff, you know? So, I'm just saying if I could use it.
I don't think it's the biggest upgrade in the world. I think if you're happy with the 14, be happy with it.
Yeah,
It's not a radical upgrade. I mean, you'll get a 5x telephoto instead of a 3x, and you will get sharper pictures in low light. But, maybe the telephoto doesn't mean $1,000 to you, because you're looking at a minimum of $1,000. So if you don't need it, don't get it. There's a lot of people who just have this desire to spend money. They just really like to do it, and they like to get new things, even if it's something that's not going to change their life. They just like to do it. So that's who the 16 is for. It's not a big upgrade. Maybe you're a slow-mo freak and you want to shoot nothing but 4K slow-mo for the next year. I have a feeling nobody in this group wants to do that. So I wouldn't say go run out and get it. Unless you've got so much money you don't know what to do with it all, and you just feel like giving Apple some of it.
Can I ask one more question about that 3x and the digital?
Yeah.
If you do digital zoom, what is the zoom? Is it a 3x digital zoom is the max, or what is it?
No, if you go beyond 3 and you go up like that and it starts saying 3.7 and 4 and 5, which is usually what it does, it's just cropping this bad image. It's cropping your image and blowing up what you've just photographed.
And will I see that on the phone, or can I see that somewhere?
Well, you'll see it on the phone, but you won't really know what it really looks like until you blow it up and see it on the computer.
I have a
Will it? Okay.
Why don't we save all the questions
So
for
later.
a certain?
Other people.
Okay, so do you want me to jump into the rest of the presentation now, or do you want to take your food break and I'll finish the presentation? You tell me.
I still got that 15 minutes.
Let's go on a little bit before we need a food break.
Okay, then I'll finish the presentation by sharing the screen, and then I hope that Adobe is not going to be all over me on this. They want me to close this up. Okay, that's where I was going to do the update. Okay, we're going to do prep. This is basic knowledge for all you guys who are in a camera club, but when we put our iPhones and Androids in our pockets and purses, the lens gets dirty, right? That is a given. We don't have lens caps. So have a cloth, clean your lens with a cloth before you go out on a shoot. Check your storage. On the iPhone, you go into settings, general, iPhone storage, and it will tell you how much room you have. At the time that I did the screenshot, it looks like I had 600 gigs free. I don't have that now, but don't show up to a shoot with no room to shoot anything. So make your plans before you go. On the Galaxy, it's under digital care in storage, and it tells you how much room you have. Please be charged up. Please show up to a shoot with 100% battery. Anybody in a camera club, I assume, owns a camera. And I don't think that anybody here would go off to a shoot with a dead battery. I think they would charge the battery before they leave the house, right? So you want to do the same thing with your phone, and you actually have a much easier time because it's very easy to put a charge cable into the car at this point. I've not seen any cars that don't have USB slots in there. So you should be having it charged up the entire time you're driving somewhere. And beyond that, beyond that, have a power accessory. If you're going on a big hike in Palos Verdes, if you're taking a trip to Las Vegas, whatever, have the power, they call it a power bank. And you can get them. This one is $70. You can buy them for $20, $30. Yeah, so definitely have one. There are five, I say there are 5 ways to turn on an iPhone, and I have an asterisk here because there's a new way now on the iPhone 16. But you can open up the camera app. You can click the icon on the front of the screen without swiping up. You can tap the Apple icon on the back of the phone. You can do it from control panel, or you could use your voice and say, hey, Siri, take a photo. Now with the asterisk, I showed you that the new control button on the side of the phone lets you do it as well. So that's 6 ways. I'm going to give you some camera tricks for the Samsung. For those of you who have Androids, one is you can press the volume button to take a picture or record video. You can set your voice commands to take pictures by saying smile, cheese, capture, or shoot, or record videos by just saying record video. There's a floating shutter button, which is a little weird, but you can put a second shutter button on your screen to take a picture on the left or the right, whatever you want, and you can show your palm to the camera to take selfies or start recording selfie videos. These are all opt-in things that you will find in the settings under shooting methods. Now we're going to look at the camera. All right, so iPhones and Galaxies tend to come with either 2 lenses or 3. The entry-level phones have an ultra wide and a wide, which is usually a 13 millimeter and a 23 millimeter, and then you get the telephoto lens. On the Galaxy, the S23 had a 10x zoom. It was the best, longest zoom I'd seen on any smartphone, and Samsung decided we don't want to do that anymore. So when they moved up to the A24, they went back to 5x, which is why I've held on to my my S23. But the iPhones, their telephoto now is a 5x, and they had 2x's and 3x's on previous models. A 16 to 35 millimeter lens, a really good one, will cost $2,500-ish. A 24 to 70 will cost you $1,500. The 70 to 135 is 3,000. And on a Pro model iPhone or Galaxy, you've got it all. I think you all know this, but I'm going to show you the difference. This is 0.5 in my garage. This is 1x. This is 2x on the iPhone 14. This is 3x at 77 millimeter and 5x. And all look pretty good, but none as great as a 1x, because that is the sharpest lens and the best in low light. Digital zoom, as we were talking about, is just a crop. Do you see how terrible it looks when you zoom in to these little earbuds? And do you remember the record store that happens to be on my earbuds? Who used to go there? Hopefully everybody here, right?
Yeah.
In Japan, they still have Tower Records. So I was there in December and I bought the earbuds, and because I didn't really want to buy a lot of CDs and take them home because I didn't know what I was going to play them on. People say to me all the time, hey, love your pictures. What app are you using to get those shots? Well, it's not Pro Camera by Moment. It's not Halide, though Halide is really good. I like the plain vanilla camera app on the phone and the Galaxy. It pretty much does everything that I want it to do. It's got a lot of special features, and I'm more into editing, doing things afterwards than setting up shots ahead of time. On the camera modes, on Samsung, they have it very, very simple. They have photo and video. Where is my Samsung? Let me just double check this for 1 second. Portrait, photo, and video, period. That's it. Then they have a more section, and that's where they put hyperlapse, which is how they call time lapse, portrait video, director's video. They have a whole bunch of special features in there. On the iPhone, it starts with the time lapse, which is the world going by at fast speeds, followed by slow-mo. You know what slow-mo is. Cinematic mode is it's like yeah, cinematic mode is like portrait mode on the iPhone, where it blurs the background. and it looks really nice in video. Video is plain vanilla video, press record, and you have a choice of different lenses to use. Photo is the same. Portrait, again, is a blurred background. Looks really nice, looks a lot better now than it did, and they give you several different looks. So what we have here, lighting looks, natural, studio, and contour, and stage, black and white, and high key. You could do a very nice black and white headshot with this in high key. My favorite look is studio. I think facial tones look best there, and I really like the blurred background look. Galaxy will blur the background as well. I think I had a better subject in Japan than I have right here. No offense to the person who just had his picture taken, but as you can tell, we have some nice different looks in the Galaxy. Panorama is where, when you can't fit it in a wide shot, you go from side to side. The Walt Disney Concert Hall downtown is pretty much impossible to capture in one frame, so panorama really worked out well there. You have macro on both phones, and the trick is to just get as close as you can. The closer, the better. I think Apple said the other day 2 centimeters is as close as you can get, and I have no idea what a centimeter is. So just get really close, and when it's out of focus, move back. To turn on the macro in the iPhone, you go into Settings, into the Camera app, and make sure that macro control, which is at the bottom of the screen, is turned on. And if it is, then you'll see that little yellow flower pop up. For the Galaxy, you will shoot macro in the 0.6 ultra wide lens. When you get close, you'll start seeing things come into focus. How to pano. Oh, okay. How to do pano is you hold the phone in a vertical setting. Can you see me, or is it all my screen?
See you.
Oh, okay, so you just, without moving your feet, you go from side to side. And that's how you do a pano. To do a portrait.
In your camera, is that what you're supposed to do?
Say it again.
You're rotating the camera as you're
I
showing.
am rotating the camera without moving my body or feet.
Okay.
For portrait, move the person up from the background that you want to blur. Don't put him right in front of the tree. Also fun to know, iPhone can change the blur afterwards. So you could take the picture of him and say, well, I wish it was more blurry or less blurry. And I will, if you want, I can follow up with you and tell you about that. The camera modes.
Can
Okay.
I ask a quick
Yes, go ahead.
question on the pano?
Yes.
You don't actually have to move the camera from left to right, you just kind of rotate it? It's not a real actual, like, way left, way right type thing.
Well, you're basically going from left to right.
Okay, yeah,
And it's hit and miss. Do it over and over again, trial and error until you get it right.
okay, thank you.
Okay. When you click on the photo app in the iPhone, there's a caret at the top of the screen. And when you click on it, these little icons come up at the bottom of the screen. And I'm going to walk you through them. They are flash, night mode, live, styles, aspect ratio, exposure control, timer, and filters. The first one is flash, and I highly recommend that you don't use it because it makes people look like they were lit by a blowtorch. If you want to use the iPhone, you're usually taking a picture and there's somebody else nearby. Use their phone and use the illumination of their phone to light the subject while you're taking it. Use the flashlight app or just use the phone itself. Night mode is mysterious. It only comes out when it's dark, when it wants to. You can't turn it on. When Apple decides that it is truly dark, it will go into night mode and it will let you take pictures that will keep the shutter open longer, as long as 30 seconds if you're on a tripod, or 10 seconds if you're handheld. This is a night mode photo taken in the dark. Live photos, as I was telling you, has that great special effect, the long exposure special effect, which I took. Who knows where this is? Does anybody recognize it?
Hometown.
Yeah. So that very simple. This is how it looked in real life. And this is me turning on the long exposure effect after I took the picture. Live photos was on, and there's a drop down menu, which, whoops, hey, come back, come back. Yeah, so that's the drop down menu when you're in live, and you just click down to long exposure. It can also erase people. As you can tell, I took a picture on the pier. A woman was walking down into my shot. I turned on long exposure, and she got erased. So that's a lot of fun to do. Styles is like a filter. Filters like Instagram filters, and I don't enjoy them. Yeah, they're vivid and different colors. I prefer to do this stuff in editing, not having it stuck on the photo. So aspect ratio is the next one. It asks you whether you want to shoot it in 16:9, 4:3, or square. 4:3 is the old tube TV that we all grew up with. And 16:9 is what happened when we got flat screen TVs. I do 16:9 on my phone because it fills the frame. It looks great on my phone, and I make videos. I make videos in 16:9. All videos are 16:9. So if I did 4:3, I would have to stretch the photo out. So it's just easier for me to do it in 16:9. If I'm doing professional work, I will do 4:3 because that's what people expect. But good news is, after the fact, you can actually take a picture in 4:3 and stretch it to 16:9 and vice versa. Was that a question or no? Okay. Exposure control is the next one up, which lets you go up by 2 stops or down by 2 stops. Very important because it doesn't always get things right. I don't know if you can tell in this image, but on one side, the light bulb looks better than the automatic exposure. Here you can tell better. This is a +2 or -2. My guitars make very nice subjects when I need to show things off. The iPhone doesn't always get it right. The shot on the left is what the iPhone told me that shot should look like, and it was overexposed by 1 stop. So I pulled it down, and it looks a lot better. The timer is very important. I use it all the time. I do selfies with it, and obviously group shots. But with the selfie, you can set it for 10 seconds and hold the phone out, and you don't have to worry about pressing the shutter button. It just will do it for you, and you'll have more time to set up your shot. And there we are using the timer. Filters are just like styles, and they just give you a different look to your photos. Again, I'd rather do it in editing. You can do vivid, vivid warm, vivid cool, dramatic, dramatic warm, and dramatic, mono, silvertone, noir. Apple, before the 16, would never use the word black and white. They do now, they call it B&W, but they'd never use the word black and white. And I should let you know that the filters are not on the new phone. So they are in all the previous editions. Galaxy modes are flash, timer, aspect ratio, megapixel choices, live photos, and filters. And you have extras in that you can shoot RAW, you can shoot night mode, you can shoot cinematic video, time lapse, and pano. So pretty much everything that you want to do on the iPhone, with the exception of that long exposure trick. To get your iPhone settings, you go into settings, general, and then this is a mouthful that I'm about to give you. So I better pause for a second. I just flew through a lot of stuff. So do we have questions about what we just talked about?
Yeah, I do. I just upgraded to an iPhone 15 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And where do I see all these different controls and modes that you were talking about?
Okay. What I was basically doing was showing you the camera mode dial. Do I have a picture of it here? Yeah, right there. Open up your photo app. You have the phone there?
Yeah,
Open up the photo app, and at the top middle of the screen, there's a caret.
right.
Click on that, and those icons will show up.
Where's the photo app?
Oh, the ones at the bottom.
Yeah, see them?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I see those.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, thank
Hidden.
you.
Hidden, and they don't tell anybody about it.
Thank you.
Okay, and somebody else had a question?
Well, I can't find the photo app.
The photo app is the camera app. There's a camera on your screen, correct?
I'm
On the
there.
main screen, right? There's a camera.
I'm there, yeah.
Okay, open up camera, and then it should say time lapse, slow-mo, cinematic, video, photo on the bottom of the screen. Do you see
Yeah,
those words?
Yeah,
So that's the photo app where it says photo.
okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Question. Yeah, question. Are you gonna go through each one of these a little bit more as to why I would select it or not select it?
By the way, everybody listening, we are videoing this, and if it comes out, it will be put up on YouTube and you can hit pause.
Yeah, I can do that. Why don't you take the break now? Because I have another thing to show you about that is a bunch of stuff there that you'll want to know about. So why don't you do your food break, and I will connect an iPhone that I can show you on screen that will
Brilliant.
even
We'll
easier.
be back in 15 minutes.
Okay, so I will tune in 15 minutes, okay?
Right.
Lovely. Thank you.
Good job.
All right, I'm just trying to do something here. I'm trying to share.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I got it. Let me try sharing
Oh,
something here.
While you're doing that, I want to interrupt you. Someone in the audience here wanted to know what you know about the Google phone. What is it, Pixel or whatever it's called? Pixel 9 Pro.
Yes, I know about the Pixel. I've reviewed it. I actually have a Google Pixel course up at jeffersongraham.com/courses.
Ooh,
And the new phone, I am not a fan of because they take a different approach to photography than I do. My approach is that photography is about capturing what we see, not what we don't see. And Google's approach is making things up with the photos. For instance, if I wanted to put another person in the photo, I can snap a button and put them in. I can take them out. And, we all do Photoshop. That's fine. And I like to take out distractions in my photos, but I don't like to make them into things that just aren't real. And the new phone takes fake photos to a new level. So that's my soapbox diatribe about the Google Pixel 9. But the 8A, which sells for $500, is a very good phone with a very good camera and a very affordably priced.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions before we move on?
I got a simple one.
Yeah.
What does the iPhone 15 and now 16, is it a 48 megapixel camera?
48 megapixel?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So today I was all over the South Bay doing some shoots. My TV show, my show that I told you about, Photo Walks, is going to be playing on television in October on the Scripps News Network. So it's a big deal for me, and I'm very excited about it. Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. I've got a time slot, and so I've got 5 episodes that are going to run in October that I already shot, but I had to do new intros for them. Oregon Coast, Big Sur, Japan. And what was the other one we did? Italy. Okay, so Sicily. So I had to do new intros. Hey, don't forget to watch our show in Sicily, Italy. And I had to have the South Bay double for Italy, Big Sur, Oregon, and Japan.
Yeah, a lot of
So let's start at the beginning. Italy, where did I go?
Italian restaurant.
No, I didn't. Try again.
Venice, Verona.
I went to
Luca.
Malaga Cove. Went to Malaga Cove and I stood in front of the Neptune statue.
Oh, boo.
We don't like that?
Yeah, no, that's okay. I know. I probably drove by while you were doing it.
Yeah, I think it looked pretty good having the statue behind me because you have statues all over Italy.
Well, the architecture, if it's in back, kind of works.
The Oregon coast. Where did I go?
Terminators.
Brooking.
No, yeah, right. Okay. I went to, I tried walking into a trail in Malaga Cove when you go all the way down, past the plaza around, and it wasn't bad. It actually wasn't bad. I mean, it's not Oregon, but it looked kind of nice. Big Sur,
Oh, the bridge.
yeah. I went to Lenata Bay and stood on a cliff and it was foggy this
Oh.
morning, and it's a little ocean, a little fog. The giveaway,
I definitely saw you.
the giveaway was that the ground was brown.
Oh,
A Big Sur, the ground is not brown.
no.
Okay, so for Japan, I had to leave Palos Verdes.
Huntington Library.
Which library?
Huntington?
Library?
No, I went to Torrance.
Forest Library, sure.
I went to Torrance, and there's a Japanese garden in the Civic Center.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not Japan, but it looked pretty
Oh, you're
good.
right, yeah, okay.
It looked good with the little pond and the koi fish and
Right.
everything. My alternative was I was going to go to Tokyo Central, the store, on Sepulveda, and I was going to stand in front of in the middle of the store with the Japanese products behind me in Japanese lettering. But I figured they'd kick me out so fast that it wasn't worth it, because that's what happens when you run into a store and start shooting. They usually kick you out. The trick is if you can get a sentence or two out of your mouth, get it done, and then leave. So that's what I did, and premieres on October 5th, and I'll be editing away. So I'm going to share the screen.
Jeff, one more thing, Scripps, I'm not familiar with that. Is that a Manhattan Beach local cable channel of some sort?
Not at all. Scripps is a national network. It is on anybody who has streaming has Scripps. They're on 60 television stations. Their thing was that free over-the-air TV is great, and let's not give it up. Let's not pay for everything. So they have free programming on these TV stations, and if you have an antenna, you can pick it up. And they wanted to do a news network that was down the line, balanced, not one way or the other. And they do a pretty good job. And I'm not exactly doing a news program, but they're going to run my show on the weekends. And it's also on Amazon and Pluto and Roku, and you can pick it up on any of the streaming services as well.
Yes.
So the Scripps News Network. All right, so let's try a new share here. And this you do not need to see, CapCut.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna close that and close that. And there. Do you guys see me in a little blue background and a little the iPhone next to me? You see the iPhone there, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to walk you all through the settings here and open up your, okay, first of all, how many people have iPhones in this group?
I do.
Do most
do.
have
Mhm.
iPhones?
Everyone except-
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I
I'm going to
do.
run you through the settings that you need to know
I
about.
don't.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I can only plug in an iPhone for whatever reason. Galaxies do not plug into my program. So if you have specific Android questions for me, just let me know in the chat and I'll get back to you and answer. How's that? Okay, why do I have what's going on there?
Oh, no.
Is my sound okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so we are going to open up the settings. You all know where settings is on your main screen, right?
oh, at the moment.
Okay, so open up your settings and we're going to go down to camera, which is right under general. Did they change it? They may have changed it.
It's
Yes.
music, TV, photos, camera,
Yeah,
podcast.
okay,
blah,
so
blah.
let's open up camera. And I'm going to start here where it says record video, because this is a 16, so they made a few changes. I think that I should bypass the video section and go straight to formats. All right. So when you open up formats, it says, do you want to shoot in high efficiency or most compatible? High efficiency is the smaller file size, that proprietary format called HEIC or HEIC that Apple invented. And I don't do that. I do JPEG. I do most compatible JPEG because the HEIC files, you can't upload everywhere. I couldn't upload them to Facebook. I couldn't upload them to the Substack, which runs my newsletter. I couldn't upload them to WordPress. I couldn't upload them to Pinterest. So I choose most compatible. The advantage over HEIC is that your file will be half the size. But if you want to do anything with the pictures, it's good to do JPEG. So that's my take. After that is photo mode, which gives you a choice of 12 megapixel or 24 megapixel image. I would always go for the more megapixel. I'd rather have more resolution than less. Underneath that is Pro RAW. I think you all know what RAW is. It's the higher resolution, more latitude file that gives you more room to work with. If you don't click it on, you can't shoot in RAW. Now, it doesn't mean you have to shoot in RAW, but you can't shoot in RAW. So I definitely say, definitely click it on. And underneath that, it says, what kind of Pro RAW do you want to do? Do you want to do low resolution RAW or high resolution RAW? And as you can see, I choose the high resolution because that's the way I like to do it. Underneath are video settings, asking you if you want to do high resolution video. And I would say yes. Again, you don't have to, but if you press that button, you'll be able to do it. Preserve settings. If you like to shoot in 1x and just 1x all the time, when you open up your app, if you don't have that set, it will take you back to 0.5 or 2x or 3x. This just tells you that every time you leave these things, you don't have to start from scratch. So I check every one of them and go for it. Use volume up for burst, very important. Put your finger on the side of the phone and you can take high-speed photos instead of playing around with the shutter. You don't have to, but if you don't turn that on, you will never be able to. So definitely turn it on. Next up is scan QR codes for all those restaurants that don't believe in menus. Definitely yes. Show detected text, yes. And next is composition. I want you to check 3 of the 4 because when you get the phone, these are unchecked. Grid, I think you all know what it is. It's the 9 squares, right? The 9 squares on your camera that help you compose. And then grid underneath, it's hard to see the line. There it is. It lets you know when your horizon is in check. And very important. Next up is mirror front camera. If I know this is a huge selfie crowd. I know that everyone out there likes to do a lot of selfies. And if you're wearing a t-shirt that says Indiana and you have that checked, your Indiana will be backwards and it will start with an A instead of an I. Uncheck it and your lettering will be correct. And then after that is view outside the frame, which basically if you're shooting a 1x, it will show you what it would look like as a wide. On the 15 and the 16, they let you choose whether your 1x will always be at 24, 28, or 35, and I choose the 24. Prioritize faster shooting, even if it makes the stabilization a little lower. Yes. Lens correction, less twisty. Yes. Macro control, which I showed you before. Yes. Those are the settings. Any questions before I go back to my PDF?
All right, tell us how we can turn RAW on when we're on the screen taking the picture.
Okay. At the top of, at the top of the screen, do you see it says RAW Max? Do you see me doing that at the top right? Yeah. Okay, so you just turn it on like that. Anybody else?
Are there settings like that for an Android?
Yes, and if you email me, I will send them to you because I've got a whole thing written out, jeffersongraham@gmail.com.
Okay,
I have
thank
a
you.
question.
Say it again?
I have a dumb question. You went over the raw max on the upper right. Is if the slash is through the symbol, are you taking in raw max or are you taking in?
JPEG.
Okay,
When there's no line in it, you're good for raw.
okay, I'm with you. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Anybody else?
Can you spell your name for your Gmail address?
Yeah, where's chat on here? Oh, let me go back to Zoom.
We'll put that in the email.
Yeah, I'll get it in here before we go on. Do you see my PDF again?
Yes.
Okay. Where was I before? Oh, okay. That was just on the settings, which we went over using the camera instead, did the backward letters. It's Q&A time. So that's my presentation. And let me stop the share. And now that I stop the share, I can go to chat and I can type in my name.
I'll have to view the chat.
Okay, and then if you don't get my newsletter, I would love you all to subscribe. It's free, and I always have a lot of good tips in there. Okay, question and answer time.
Are you on YouTube?
Yes, I am. Let me give you that.
Sergio or someone, you're gonna have to display the chat screen for us. It won't video on its own.
Can you all see all this that I'm sending?
No, Sergio, you have to, Sergio. you have
It
to
says
show
the meeting group
that.
chat. It says the meeting group chat. Is that not going to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't read it.
Maybe we'll take a picture.
working fine.
What's that? Okay. Jefferson Graham, JEFFERSONGRAHAM @gmail. YouTube, youtube.com/PhotoWalksTV. And PhotoWalksTV.com. And my newsletter is www.photowalkstv.com. What's that?
Put in the email.
Hold your card up.
Hold your business card up.
Could you put your card back up again? That was fast.
But you have somebody else on there, maybe. Yeah, speak, Jeff. We need your
Okay,
picture.
you got it?
That's for your newsletter?
Hold it up for about 5 seconds.
I mean.
Yes, this is my newsletter, and you could all contact me there via the newsletter.
Thank you.
Fox TV.
Anybody that talks, it's gonna pick over the screen.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions I can answer for you?
Can you explain what the symbols mean at the top on the galaxy? When you go
The only thing is I can't show it to you, but I can tell you that it's settings, flash, timer, aspect ratio, megapixel, and play.
I'm just talking about the symbols at the top of the screen, above the picture.
That's what he says this thing.
What do they mean? What do the symbols mean from left to right? What are they for?
Well, settings is where you adjust things, right?
What do you tap on?
The symbol.
The symbol. What symbol do I tap on? I don't know.
The symbol looks like a gear.
Looks like a gear, you touch it.
It looks like a gear. The next one is a flash, it looks like a lightning.
Yeah, what is the lightning?
That means
Flash. That's the
camera flash.
Which one is the zoom?
The zoom is not at the top. The zoom is your optical buttons down here that says 0.5, 1x, 3x, and 10x. 10x on my S23.
It says portrait, photo, video. It's above that, it's above that.
The bottom is portrait mode, which is blurred background of the
1, 6,
photo.
1X and 3.
Yeah, that's your.
Yes. What do I tap on? Which one do
I-
you want?
I'm not getting the question.
Whether you're in high resolution mode or medium resolution.
I just tapped on camera. I haven't reached that point yet. I'm a newbie.
So I have a question. Do you use, when you shoot at night, you use a tripod, right?
Yes.
Okay, I saw at the very beginning, there was a brief shot of you using a small, some kind of a handheld, no, underneath the camera. Yes. What is that?
The selfie stick.
Okay.
But it's a little short one?
Yes, it's a selfie stick combination tripod, 4-foot tripod. And I use it to steady my video shots. And then when I do interviews, I yank it out and turn it into a little tripod. And it works really nicely. And it sells for all of $25.
And it does help stabilize the camera a little bit too?
Yes.
Okay. But it's not,
I also, I have a whole gear section on the website. Again, if you write to me, I'll send you that post.
How do you decide?
okay, because a lot of the selfie sticks I've seen, you know, people, they stretch out like 20 feet or whatever. This thing that
You
you
can get
had.
different sizes. I also have a giant one that is so big,
Okay,
barely ever use it.
How do you
okay, because
decide?
this thing that you had looked like a little short stout
Yeah,
type
it
thing.
could go in my pocket. It could go in your purse.
Okay, okay, thank you.
How do you decide between the two companies, iPhone and the Galaxy to photograph?
I prefer the iPhone, and I bought the Galaxy because there's always somebody who says, but how do I do it on the Galaxy? And so I bought it so I could know. And also I wanted the 10x zoom lens that they had at the time. And I'm glad I did it. Yep, it's great to be versatile in both formats and to know what's going on.
Yeah, I have a question about the Galaxy. I have the S24 Ultra.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with this low light. I just don't know what to set things under, like if you're inside at night, you know. I just don't know what the general settings I should have, so I'm always trying to make it lighter, make it, I just don't know what to even set it on.
Well, you could try their pro mode, which is in the more section.
Uh-huh.
And you could, I'm waiting for, there's pro and there's expert raw. I would play around with those because in pro you could change your f-stop and your shutter speed and your ISO. So I would just play around until you get something that you like.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, I have a question. Something you covered early on when you were talking about zooming. It seemed like you were alternating between optical and digital zoom as you worked the numbers up. Could you kind of repeat that again? I got confused.
Yeah, I don't do digital zoom. I don't believe in it. And I can show the camera. Let's show the camera again. Okay, you're back here. You can see my TV, my phone again.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
1x. I'm sorry, that was 0.5, 1, 2, and 5. Those are optical zooms. When I go like this, I'm doing digital zoom. And unfortunately, I don't even have, let's get something to focus on. I'm sorry, it's in the middle of the night here.
What are you doing when you say, when I do this?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was pinching and zooming. I
Oh,
was
okay.
pinching on the screen.
But if you push on the numbers, then
That's
those
optical
are
zoom.
optical zoom
Yes.
position.
So which one do you prefer?
Oh, it's
Optical.
always optical.
Always optical. So
Here's
press
a
on
nice-
the numbers.
Here's a nice green cup. Okay, so that's 5x, that's 3x, that's 2x, that's 0.5. And if I start going like this, which you can't tell, okay, that just went to 0.7. So that's digital zoom. And then we're going to go a little higher. And now that says 1.2x. That's digital zoom. 3.7, 3.5, that's digital zoom. Regular 3, that's optical, or 2, I'm not sure. That was 2x. So the numbers will give you the best quality.
Okay,
That-
I've always done it wrong.
Question, when you're shooting, do you go in and make a selection on all these things and then you take your shot with your cell phone? Or can you talk a little bit about how you do that? Because it seems like there's so many options that one has to instantly think about.
If I'm going to Big Sur and I'm shooting the Bixby Bridge will be shot at 0.5, 1x, 2x, and 5x. I will use every angle, and I'll just do them all. I will shoot from below, I'll shoot from above, I'll shoot from the left, I'll shoot from the right. The beauty of digital is that we can keep on trying until we get it right. I grew up, and I know you all did too, in an era where you would buy 36 or 24 exposure rolls of film, and the film was expensive, the developing was expensive, the prints were expensive, and you couldn't experiment as much as you could now. Now you can. So I believe in getting it all, and when you're looking at your picture on a small screen, you think you have it, then you get home and maybe you really didn't. And it's not until it goes on the computer that you really tell how good it is. Does that help?
So, I was just trying to understand, does the phone then, what does the phone go back to do? If you leave it on 3x, does it stay there? Or, if you pick something, does it stay there, or does it flip back to some standard?
I think it usually goes to 1x every time you open it up. So I will open up my
So
camera
it kind of goes back. So
yeah, I'm at 1x right here. And then if we close the camera app and open it back up, it just went to 1x. So it defaults, it defaults to the
to a set of
the
stuff.
standard. Yeah.
I have a question, are you done, Eva? I have a question about deleting photos.
Yes.
For example, I have 18,500. It's not funny on my phone, and I have 4,000 plus videos on my phone.
Oh my God.
So,
You also have them on your computer?
I do the cloud, and I will delete from the cloud on my computer, but it doesn't affect my phone.
It does. Are you uploading them to iCloud, Apple's iCloud?
They automatically are uploaded.
Okay. Apple's iCloud is not a backup service. Warning, warning, warning. It is a mirror of your phone, your computer, and your iPad. And if you delete a photo from iCloud, it will delete it off your iPhone. If you delete a photo off your iPhone, it will be deleted from iCloud. So you may feel good about the fact that they're in the cloud, but they're not being backed up. They need to be backed up somewhere else, whether that be Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, SmugMug. There are many other alternatives, but iCloud is not a good one because of the deleting.
Well, on the, can you speak a little bit more about Microsoft, the OneDrive? I find it irritating. It keeps grabbing my stuff because I do all my own backups, etc. So can you give me your feeling about that?
Well, I'm not a fan, but I know it sells for $70 a year. It gives you 1 terabyte of storage, and it won't delete your photos. So that's why I'm giving you options of places that don't delete your photos.
How do I delete, massive quantities off my phone without going one by one?
Import them to your computer, put them on a hard drive, put them on 2 hard drives, even better. And once you do that, then you could delete them off your phone, unless you don't care about them. If you don't care about them, go delete as much as you want. I mean, I have a zillion screenshots. My wife's phone, half of it is recipes and pictures of bread that she made, and she doesn't need all of those. So have it's not hard to get them into the computer and to put them onto drives. Drives are not expensive.
But then on your phone, you have to delete one by one.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You can do it from the computer.
Okay, let's do some deleting. Okay, here, select. You see, I just press select
Yes,
and
okay.
I go like that. Whoops, I didn't want to delete those, but okay, then press delete at the bottom. And I've now deleted 9 photos.
Okay.
And they're still available for recall for 30 days, is that true?
That is true.
Could you in a general way, explain or, describe, after you got on your phone, what do? Do you, use Lightroom or Photoshop or that sort of thing? Or-
Okay, so I go on a shoot, as in today, all over the South Bay, and I come home and I import the photos, the videos in this case, into my computer. I create a folder called South Bay Shoot, whatever the date was, and they're there. That's a bad example. You wanted to know about photos. So let's say I did a shoot in Palos Verdes, and I would come back and I'd create a Palos Verdes folder, and then I would import those photos that are, excuse me, those photos are in a folder on one of my dedicated drives, not on the computer, they're on a drive. And then I will import them into Lightroom. I will look at them. And if it was something where, you know, I do portraits on the weekend, so what did I shoot, 500? The weekend before, no, I was actually 1,000 photos. So I shot 1,000 photos the weekend before. I imported them, put them in the drive, titled, it was about a kid named Nathan, titled it Nathan, and then I put him into Lightroom. And my approach in Lightroom may be different from others, is I do a quick collection of the 1,000 photos. From the quick collection, I delete the ones I don't want on my first pass. Usually put on music or something to listen to. And then I get it down to 500, 600, whatever. And then I'll do a second pass, delete some more. And then once I've done that, then I'll work on the photos, play around with them in Lightroom and a little bit in Photoshop.
First question, relative to that, do you use Lightroom or do you use Lightroom Classic?
Lightroom Classic, thank you very much. I wouldn't be caught dead with the other Lightroom.
And what do you do with the pictures that after you've uploaded them from your phone and you have them safely on your computer? What happens to them on your phone?
In this case, the one I just told you about that was a shoot on my Sony. But on the phone, I just did a giant shoot in Big Sur, and those photos go in to my computer, as I told you about. And when I am done and the video is finished and it's published, then I will delete them off the phone.
Off the phone.
Yeah.
Can you say a bit more on your comment when you say you would only use Lightroom Classic, not the other one? What is the reasoning there? Can you tell me?
You know, it's been so long since I used the old Lightroom. It did a bunch of things. It changed things around. The basic gist, I want to cull through my photos. I want to use the develop module to up the exposure and the blacks. And I found all the tools were in a different place, and it was basically Lightroom Light, and I didn't want to touch it. Yeah, but I'm giving you, I bet you it's been 5 years since I tried the new Lightroom.
Okay, thank you.
You're using, let me clarify, you're using Classic.
I'm using Classic.
Right, okay, got it. I think the other one is called just Lightroom these days. It's
Right.
called Lightroom Cloud or any number of other things.
Which one is Lightroom CC? Is that Lightroom Classic?
Creative Cloud. Creative Cloud.
But I love Lightroom Mobile. I use that all the time on the phone.
Oh, okay.
And that works really well.
Me too. And Photoshop on the phone.
Yes, on Photoshop. Well, Photoshop on the computer.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
That's nice.
I got one question.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with photography. What kind of
Okay.
content goes on the wall?
What's that?
What kind of guitars do you have on the wall?
I have an ES 125 behind me. I have a Fender
Really? You
Stratocaster
wanna
over
sell
there.
that?
Well, let's, wait a minute, wait a minute.
It had 2 pickups on it though.
Wait. Okay. ES 125 back there.
Yeah.
And then there's a Telecaster over there.
Oh,
And then also I've got some guitars on the other side. I have a Benedetto, I've got an Ibanez. What else is hanging? I have a Martin. Yeah.
Wow, do you play, we have a stage in our backyard.
Okay. Have guitar will travel. Yes.
Also in the beginning, Jeff, you mentioned you had a drone.
Yes, I do.
Can you generally talk a bit about that for a couple minutes?
DJI Mini 4. I can tell you that last December 31st, 2023, the King Tides. Do you remember the King Tides? And I went down to Manhattan Beach to photograph them with my DJI Mavic Air 2S. The tides were so high, I had to stand in the lifeguard tower to avoid getting wet.
Wow.
And I flew the drone all over those tides, and there was some of the best footage I ever got. Never saw such big tides. And at the end, I decided to come in for one last close-up of one of the tides. And I went down, and the tide looked up and said, "I am hungry. I think I'll eat this drone." And there it went. So I ran over to Paul's that afternoon and I bought the Mini 4, which is a very nice drone. And it's a little smaller, it's a little lighter, does very nice work. I brought it to Japan, brought it to Barcelona. I flew it around Barcelona and Italy. I flew it in Italy too, and got some, oh God, I got some really nice stuff in Italy. So the trick to drone flying is to fly it early in the morning. Nobody knows what the rules are. Everybody will tell you what the rules are, and they're always different. But if you fly in the morning before people are out, you can basically get away with flying and enjoy yourself. So
I take it you don't have an Part 107?
I studied hard for it for a week, and I got a 63 out of 70. And I said I was going to go back, and I will. And I will.
So is it okay to fly in Manhattan?
They fly it here every day. I mean, people fly it all the time.
Okay, because I know it's close to an airport and
It's close to an airport, but people fly there all the time. PV is a wonderful place on the cliffs. I like to fly over water just because if anything happens, the worst that could happen is it falls in the water.
Yeah.
You don't stay within visual sight.
Oh, I have to see it. And if I can't see it, I don't want to, I'm not the sort of person who just goes for 3 miles. I have to see it. If I can't see it, I don't want to do it.
Got it.
No risk, no reward.
Do you take a spotter with you?
What's that?
Do you take a spotter with you?
I do not. But again, it's line of sight. I try not to even look down at the screen, because if you look at the screen and then you look up, the next thing is the sun is so bright, you can't see anymore. So I just sort of like just follow it. And, you know, for travel video, go up, go out a little bit. That's pretty much all you need.
Do you fly at night?
No. I like to fly in the morning.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right, I've got to wrap it up because I have to go finish a slideshow for a client that it's due tomorrow morning.
Okay, have fun.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thanks for having me. Don't forget to
Really
subscribe
interesting.
to the newsletter if you can. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Well, I guess we'll close tonight. By the way, this, as far as I can remember, is our most populated meeting since we count online as well as in person. Oh, maybe that's the subject.